So I'm looking at Wikipedia this morning and ESPN, and I wake up early on the West Coast, and the Paterno story, the Penn State punishment story breaks. And I was already on Wikipedia looking up something else. And I go to Joe Paterno, and within, I swear to God, within 48 seconds of the story breaking, Joe Paterno's career record on Wikipedia is shown to be 298, 136, and 3. Like somebody's first priority was getting in there and changing his career record, because the NCAA has stripped 111 wins from Joe Paterno. Wins for Penn State since 1998.
By the way, the last win, do you know who the quarterback was for his last win against Wisconsin?
No, his last win was
against Wisconsin.
No, his last win against Wisconsin. But his last win ever was against.
His last win against Wisconsin. Do you know who the quarterback was for Penn State?
Who?
Mike McQueary.
Oh, you mean the last? So not even the last quote-unquote real win. The last win the NCAA is acknowledging.
Yes.
The quarterback by Mike McQueary. That's fascinating. Before we get to the punishment, it is remarkable to look from a storytelling point of view of what happened to Joe Paterno. I mean, just think about, he won his last game, I think, on October 29th. He beat Illinois 10-7. The Illini missed a field goal on the last play of the game. It hit the upright. They win 10.
Per the usual for Illinois.
Right. They didn't score. They got 10 points in the fourth quarter. They beat Illinois 10-7. He passes Eddie Robinson of Grambling at 409 to become the winningest Division I college coach of all time. On November 8th, 10 days later, Penn State had a bye the next week. On November 8th, 10 days later, he's fired from Penn State. And 2.5 months after that, January 22nd, he's dead. It is like, step away from it. When we were in it, it may not have seemed that swift, but with some degree of stepping away and some perspective, it has been a remarkably swift developing story. And now, here we are in July, Penn State, $60 million fine. I have no idea how much money the university has.
They made 53 last year.
Right. It's supposed to be about 1 year of football revenue. But I was about to say, even though I don't know exactly what the Penn State endowment is, but I know $60 million.
$1.8 billion.
Well, I was about to say $60 million hurts. Now, all of a sudden,
there you go.
They can weather it. Nonetheless, you can't argue that $60 million for a public institution is not a serious fine. 4 years, no postseason, and a significant loss, 10 to 20 scholarships lost a year from the football team.
They go from 25 to 15 the first year, and from 85 to 65 overall. Yeah,
so 10 or 15, then 20 over the course of the ban. Excuse me, that is significant. No question about it. There's some debate because the NCAA Infractions Committee did not go through the normal process where they let the school know that there's an investigation months ahead of time. They tell them what the findings are, giving the school a chance to respond, and then the NCAA takes 6 months, sometimes to a year, to levy the actual punishment. Here, they took the Louis Freeh report, which was commissioned by Penn State, former FBI Director Louis Freeh, and used that as the NCAA's report and handed down this punishment, citing that the circumstances in Penn State are exceptional or extreme. The lack of this makes USC's lack of institutional control, which they exhibit on a daily basis because it's a professional program run there, seem like nothing. This is serious business. Puts Ohio State, puts SC in some significant perspective. I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to hammer USC whenever the opportunity arises. So I think a good punishment. You know, obviously the student athletes there on the football team now pay a price for this. It's a small price, I got to be honest.
I agree.
And they can transfer.
Yeah.
And if it guts, and Penn State will be gutted because some guys are going to leave. Some freshmen who came and thought they'd be part of this rebuilding process, they're not going to get to play in a bowl game for 4 years, and the scholarships are going to be reduced. The team's probably not going to be that good. They'll transfer. That'll be really bad for Penn State, and we'll have to revisit 5 years from now whether Penn State returns to being a significant player on the college football field.
There's one kid from Pennsylvania who was the #1 overall recruit. He's a quarterback. And so I think a lot of guys who are on the fence about whether they should stay or leave depend on this kid's decision.
Yeah. Well, if I were him, he made a commitment to Penn State. He knew that it was going to be bad, and he said he'd come there. And if I were he, I would go somewhere else.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would transfer to Temple.